going on, everybody? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you choose to watch this video. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you. Hit you the quick deck tech for Tymna the Weaver and Malcom Keen-Eyed Navigator. You know, Tymna's out here. She's one of those lonely housewives. She's got a job, she's got kids in school, she got a husband that doesn't really pay her many mind. He's out here watching the Bears play every Sunday like it's the end of the world. Like whether or not they make the playoffs has any bearing on his life whatsoever. Making her clothes, sewing his socks because dude doesn't know how to take care of his toenails. Making her kids sweaters. She doesn't have a bad life, but she just has a unfulfilled life. You know, then Malcom swoops in, he's a siren. He's out here showing her the world, giving her treasure tokens, showing up at her office party with flowers, you know, doing Malcom stuff. Boom. So, Tymna, one white, one black, one colorless, for a legendary creature, human cleric. She has lifelink. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may pay X life, where X is the number of opponents dealt combat damage, draw X cards. She has partner, Malcom, Keen-Eyed Navigator. Legendary creature, Siren Pirate. Flying, whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to an opponent, create that many treasure tokens. Partner. Both deuce. So this is a mutually beneficial relationship for the two of them. Tymna's gonna draw you cards. Malcom's gonna make treasure tokens. It's kind of like, what's that movie? Little Children. You know, who is it? Kate Winslet and, can't remember the other guy's name. Out here, you know, on the low, fulfilling each other's fantasies. And, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta take a trip to New York. Sometimes you gotta go to the casinos in Indiana. Whatever you gotta do just to survive life. All right. We got a flashy mana base. 9 islands. 9 plains. 7 swamps. Temple of Deceit. Evolving Wilds. Godless Shrine. Esper Panorama. Watery Grave. Temple of Silence. Terramorphic Expanse. Arcane Sanctum. Vault of Champions. Command Tower. And Guildless Commons. Guildless Commons just look like a corner store, to be honest with you. I don't know if everyone's just hanging out at the corner, shooting the shit. I don't know. That's what it just looks like to me. Looks like some bodega if you're from New York, or just like the corner stores we got here in Chicago sometimes. So we got this pirate and this cleric, you know, just trying to find their way through life. They need a little acceleration. Here's the rocks. We got Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Azorius, Demir, and Orzhov Signets. And I put Dowsing Dagger in with the rocks just because there are so many flyers that there's a very high likelihood that's going to flip over into Lost Veil, is it? Yeah, it's going to flip over into Lost Veil, and it's going to be tapping for 3 mana. So that's why it's in with the rocks. I got a few spot removals. I got Merciless Eviction in here, and I'm a little on the fence with it, because I never really want to wipe the board with this deck. I always want to just get rid of the flyers so I can go about my business of making treasure and drawing cards. So I might just take that out for another spot removal card. So we got Merciless Eviction, Dispark, Mortify, and Utter End. Again, they're more versatile, able to target more than one thing. Got good old-fashioned counterspell, the good old middle finger, Arcane Denial, and Dovin's Veto. Again, this is a creature-heavy deck, so you want to be able to protect your boys. You want to be able to protect your creatures. That being said, we got Make a Stand, giving things indestructible. Rootborn Defense, giving things indestructible. Chroma's Will, giving creatures indestructible, and you're going to have a commander on, so it'll be giving your creatures a hell of other benefits like lifelink and vigilance and all that jazz. Then we got Bond of Discipline, tapping all your opponent's creatures, letting you fly over, hit them and gain life with that lifelink. Rally the Wings is more like a quick anthem. You know, if you have, 10 flyers out and you all put 2/2 on them, that's gonna be a pretty substantial amount of damage. And Fortify, again, you're always gonna give him the 2-0. We got some Anthem and other miscellaneous cards. We got the Immortal Sun. Again, it's gonna cheapen the spells, give the creatures 1/1, draw you a card, and turn off Planeswalkers. Spirit of Heliod, Dictate of Heliod, Cathar's Crusade, and a card that I did not know was as hot as it is, Commander's Insignia. If both your commanders are out on the board, it's 2/2. And then if one dies, you gotta put it back, and guess what? It gets bigger and bigger. Duelist Heritage, just in there for the pirates, you know, so they can make some more tokens. We got the draw spells, Coastal Piracy, Bite in Athasa, and Reconnaissance Mission. You need to be creating those treasure tokens with the flyers. And to back those up, we got Xenograph, however you say it, Arcane Adaptation, and Conspiracy. Just to make everything pirates. And that being said, that is the major flaw of this deck, that I don't have that many pirates in it. And so when I'm making creatures, you know, I need one of these out. I think I only drew into just Malcom in the game that I won the other day. But I won the game. And Malcom created 2 tokens in his exploits. And I was able to hold up counter magic on the last turn, just in case they had some answers or war whip or whatever. So I guess it's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Again, I only played one game of this and I won it, and the deck worked swimmingly. Last 2 enchantments of the game, Bitter Blossom and True Conviction. True Conviction is a game winner with double life and lifelink. Got enough guys on board, get him with a couple of those anthems, hit him with double strike and lifelink, and there you go. So, you know, Malcolm's out here, he's starting to go to like Tymna's office parties. Her co-workers are starting to know him on a first name basis. They're starting to get mad like when her actual husband shows up because he's this big meathead, and he was like, you know, all he wants to talk about is deadlifts, face cream, and superfood. And it's boring. Malcom got more interesting things to say. He's talking about pirates, talking about, you know, going on adventures, the high seas, things of that nature. So we got a couple of his boys in here. Here come the goons, and there's a lot of goons. There is substantial goons in this deck because there's a creature-based deck. We got Spectral Sailor. He has Flash. You know, he just shows up, buys some shots, and Tim was like, "Oh, who's that guy?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's cool. He's here. He's with me." You know. Well, here these are all the 1-drops, by the way. Spectral Sailor, pirate, flying. Draw a card when you got nothing to do with them. Judge's Familiar, Fairy Seer, Siren Storm Tamer. Those are all the 1-drops, I guess so. So then we got Mind Shrieker, a hilarious card. That's going to get bigger. You just throw mana into another mana sink when you got nothing else to do. Baleful Strix, great card. Watcher of the Spheres. Again, it's going to give you a cost reduction on your flyers. He has flying, and then you get bonuses when other creatures with flying into the battlefield. Skycat Sovereign, flying, makes flyers as a mana sink late in the game. We got Eisner, Wandering Familiar. Again, he's cool because 1, he has flying, 2, he's a 2-drop, and he's going to give pseudo protection to your commanders. If you can get him out turn 2, and then get either one of your commanders out turn 3, it's going to be hard to get rid of him, and that's awesome. Then we got Thieving Skydiver, Lavinia of Seasgate, Drana, who did absolute work for me. Drana, Liberator of Malachor. She has flying first strike, whenever she deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on each other attacking creature you control. And she did work. She put at least 4 counters on each creature I had, and it was nice. Kangi's Lieutenant, again, giving a little buff. Jubilant Skybinder, again, making it harder for your opponents to deal with your flyers. The Eagle, giving that 1/1 buff. Aven Mind Sensor, really my only hate bear in the deck, just because it is what it is. You know, he's flying. I took a couple of the cards out that were like little hate bears like that, just to continue the flying. And if anybody's ever played with me or anybody who knows me, you know I only got 1 speed, and I ain't got time for playing cards like this. But I decided to mix up and do it. Then we got the 4 drops. Spark Double, doubling up on either Tymna or Malcom or any of the legendary creatures in the deck is fantastic. And so if I can get double the cards or double the token cards, if I'm doubling up on my commanders, that's fantastic. The new one, how do you say that? Cyane, whatever. Eye of the Storm. You have nothing but flyers, so you're gonna be scrying for days. And has a little bit bigger punch at 3/2 than a lot of the other cards. I took apart this deck to make this deck. So I took apart Layla because in the many games I played with her, she did absolutely nothing. The deck looked fantastic on paper, but I guess it just had no soul. It was completely awful. You know, maybe Layla is Malcolm's ex-girlfriend, and she just shows up. She got death touch. She's giving Tymna the stink eye, and you know things go sideways. And Malcolm's just like, "All right, chill. Don't worry about it." She's just jealous because I upgraded, and she makes other fairies. Thunderclap Riven, again, Anthem. Here comes Ravioli. That's Tymna's husband. He's a little looking all sexy, but that's all he wants to do. You know, going to the gym isn't a personality trait, and that's all he wants to talk about. Deadlifts, face creams, and superfoods. He ain't stimulating Tymna's mind like old Malcolm is. He's out here asking her, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to open up a bakery? You've always had a love of baking? Let's go. I know a guy who can get us a good deal on some property, on some neighborhood that's just getting gentrified. And there you go. And then we got this guy again. Yniaz, the Gale Force. He's flying, giving buffs, stealing stuff, doing chaosy things. Lisa, the Shroud of Dark, again, draining people. She's a 5/5 beater with lifelink, so she's out here flying, draining your opponents. She's draining you a little bit, you know. So, you know, that person that wants, you know, do a little scratching when you're doing your little ooh la la. You know, it hurts, but, you know, you get to like it, and then it's like you don't even know what to do when someone's not got their nails deep in your back. Kangi, Sky Warden, buffs for days. I put this one in here. What is she? Thales, Revenant Medium. She's making dudes. If you're making tokens and she's out here making spirits flying, that's a win-win. Then we got the finishers, kind of the beaters. We got Azor the Lawbringer, 6/6, and making people not be able to do stuff. And then drawing cards. Aspera, Supreme Judge. Hopefully dissuading someone from attacking you because you'll draw a card, or if they do come, you'll draw a card, whatever. Una, Queen of the Fae, big old booty, flying there, milling people, making fairies. And then Magister Sphinx could be an ender in this deck, just because if you make someone's life total 10, if you swing in with the crew, there you go. So that was my deck tech for Tymna, the Weaver, and Malcom. I got high hopes for this deck, to be quite frank with you. It played fantastically, and there was a commenter who left a comment on a video, maybe, I don't know what deck it was, but he's like, you didn't make a green deck, so why is all you talk about green cards? And so that was kind of the inspiration for this deck. Swole Jesus played a game with us with his Endrick deck. It's like Endrick Flyers, the little blue-green one that draws a card whenever opponents are dealt damage. And like again, at first you're just taking 1, 2, you're like, whatever. And then everyone is stupid enough to think they can outrace him and not just let Endrick sit on the table, like, I'll draw cards. Meanwhile, he's drawing cards, putting all these little 1/1, 2/2 flyers on the board, and then he casts a buff, and it's like, oh, I take how much now? But I think this is a little bit more sexy, has a little more pizzazz, so there's a little more panache, you know, a little joie de vie, because it's Esper. No one's gonna think you're playing little jumps in the air, creating tokens, drawing cards, and you do that long enough, you draw enough cards, you make enough mana. Chances are you're gonna win. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Hope everyone's having a great new year.